My name is Bonaventure. Welcome to our commercial class. Today, we are going to look at the general principles of consumer credit. And in general principles of consumer credit, we will look at the nature of hire purchase, the difference between hire purchase and credit sales. We'll also look at the formation of contracts in hire purchase agreements. And in so doing, we'll go into detail of looking at the duties of the owner of the goods in that agreement of hire purchase. We will also look at the conditions of the hirer if he or she opts to terminate the agreement. The nature of hire purchase agreements is that when goods are sold to the hirer or to the buyer, or let us call him the hirer, when goods are sold to the hirer, they are meant to be on hire only. They are only on hire until he pays the last installment. But before paying the last installment, those goods are still regarded as the owner of the person that hired him or her those goods. So they are still on hire only until the last installment, the last payment of installment is made. Also, the property in goods does not pass until the hirer has paid the final installment. The property in the goods does not pass to the hirer until he pays the last installment. Although possession of the goods will be in the hands of the hirer, but ownership remains with the owner until the hire purchase price is paid in full. Okay, the goods are in the hands of the hirer, but ownership remains with the owner until the hire purchase price is paid in full. And once one has bought the goods on hire purchase, there are ways which the said person can terminate the hire purchase agreement. It's not cast in stone, no. The hirer, because of various reasons, he may choose to terminate the hire purchase agreement. And if he happens to do so, he must write or he must give a written notice to the owner of the goods that he wants to terminate the hire purchase agreement. So he must give a notice, and that notice must be in written to the owner of the goods that he no longer wants to remain with his goods and continue paying in installments. Instead, he would like to terminate the hire purchase agreement and And by so doing, you will be required to write a written notice to the owner of the goods that he intends to terminate the hire purchase agreement. Also, by paying all the installments due by that time, and any sum to make his total payment not less than half of the total hire purchase price. For example, this man has been staying with the goods. Maybe he has stayed with the goods for 7 months. And maybe he had only paid 2 months or 3 months. But when he returns the goods, you see, he has been enjoying the services of those goods for the last 7 months. But he had only paid maybe for 3 months. He will be required to pay also those installments that he enjoyed the goods before terminating the hire purchase contract. And in other circumstances, he may be required to pay half the agreed price, the agreed hire purchase price, before it's cleared to terminate the agreement. And if the one that sold him or her the goods on hire purchase was not the real owner, but he was merely an agent, or not the owner, the written notice must also go to the owner of those goods that one intends to terminate the hire purchase agreement. Now, one would ask, what is the difference between the hire purchase and credit sales agreement? In an hire purchase agreement, the goods are on hire only. The property in the goods does not pass to the hirer. But whereas in credit sales, it's a bit different. In credit sales, the property in goods passes directly to the person buying the goods on credit. It does not remain with the person selling the goods. So, in a hire purchase, ownership of goods is transferred from the vendor to hirer when the last installment had been paid, is when ownership is transferred from the vendor to the hire of the goods. But in a sale agreement on credit sales, ownership goes directly to the person buying goods on credit. And also in hire purchase, the price paid is through installments. The price paid every month is called, or is known as installments. So in other words, the price paid is through installments. That process is through installments. But in credit sense, you can pay any amount that you agree upon. And also in hire purchase, there's something also. The goods can be repossessed. If one does not pay the installment as required, the goods can be repossessed. The goods can be repossessed. The owner of the goods can take back his goods and sell it to another person. If a default happens. But in the credit sense, the owner cannot take back his goods. In whatever case, in whatever may accrue, he cannot take back his goods. What he will do, he will go to court, and maybe the court may in its judgment force the other person to make good of his agreement, failure of which the court may force this person to have his goods, his personal, even his personal property sold, so as to recover the money of the owner of the goods. That is in the credit sense. And also in hire purchase, when goods are sold on hire purchase, whatever is paid will be in cash form. But in credit sales, one can pay through credit cards or something else in equal value, but not in hire purchase. In hire purchase, you have to pay through cash only. So the owner of the goods in hire purchase and also the hirer have duties, have obligations to be fulfilled in a hire purchase agreement. For example, the owner of the goods in the hire purchase agreement must indicate the cash price, must also register the hire purchase agreement, must register the hire purchase agreement, must also indicate the cash price of the good, must also, after the agreement, give the said goods to the hirer. He must also give the hirer a copy of the contract. That this is now the copy of your contract between you and me. And after giving out the goods to the hirer, although ownership still remains with the person hiring the goods to the hirer, but that person must also let the hirer enjoy quiet possession of those goods. You must not interfere with him. He only interferes after he has failed to remit installments to him. But so long as he has not failed to remit installments to him, he need not go to his house to check whether the goods are in good form or not. No, he must let the man enjoy those goods in quiet possession. You should not disturb him at all. Also, there are certain conditions that when also the hirer dominates the agreement, the hire purchase agreement, before a final payment, this is what he must do. He must return the goods to where he was hired. That is, he must return the goods to the premises where he hired them from and pay his own expenses as he ferries the goods to the owner, back to the owner. And if it happens that he must have tampered with those goods and spoiled any of those goods, then he will be required to pay damages. He will be required to repair those goods, to put back the goods in the form in which they were before this guy buying those goods. And also, before the goods are returned, the hirer must also give a notice to the owner of the goods that he intends to terminate their agreement. He does not just walk in any time and say, oh, here are your goods, now I no longer need them. I've terminated the agreement. No, he has to give him a notice to allow him calculate the installments required to be paid until the third month, and also in case the goods are not in good form, to require the hirer to pay damages for the part that maybe was damaged. Also, the hirer also, in case he had not actually been paying installments as required of him, is also required to pay the remaining installments of the months that he enjoyed having those goods. And at times, as I said earlier, he may be required to pay half of the installment of the hire purchase price, or amount nearer to that, according to their agreement. Therefore, my good student, this topic is not wide enough. Therefore, I would ask of you to go back and do some homework, do some research on your own, and exhaust this topic as much as possible. So until next time, bye-bye.